Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Pioneer video. It's been a little while, but I'm back to this format. Today's video is courtesy of Dead Cats, who wanted me to play their Pioneer deck list before they went to a major local level event. One thing I want to mention up front here is that they also wrote a brief primer that goes with their deck list, and I'll be happy to go ahead and link that in the video description for you all to check out. So what's going on here? This is essentially a Death and Taxes style deck list, but unlike the Legacy version, we're not going to be able to disrupt all of the time, so we're going to lean a little more heavily into the aggro role, with cards like Hopeful Initiate, which has training. Whenever this creature attacks with another creature with greater power, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And we're going to pair that with things like Luminarch Aspirant. These two cards have a very good interaction in that Hopeful Initiate is a 1/2. Luminarch Aspirant, if you put the counter on itself, is a base 2/2. Okay? So that means every turn, if you put your Luminarch Aspirant counter on Luminarch Aspirant, you will always be able to training Hopeful Initiate, and that makes for a pretty big clock. And then we have some other synergistic aggro elements in the form of Thalia's Lieutenant, which is kind of like a human lord, and Adeline Resplendent Cathar, which has actually seen some legacy play. Its power is equal to the number of creatures you control, and whenever you attack, you get a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking. Now, we do have some taxation elements in this deck. We do have Thalias, we do have some Archons, and some Elite Spellbinders. But generally speaking, if Legacy Death and Taxes is like... let's do this with this hand. Is like heavy on disruption and light on aggro, this deck has gone the other way, where it's heavy on aggro and light disruption. So you'll notice, like, we don't have any sort of disruptive stuff in our mana base. We have some removal spells and another creature, but we don't have, like, the Rishadan Ports, the Field of Ruins, the Wastelands, that sort of stuff here. As far as the sideboard goes, a lot of the sideboard here is going to be hateful stuff for certain matchups. Especially kind of stopping the graveyard is important. You know, you've got things like Phoenixes running around in this format that we very much need to stop. Although we do have a few other relatively unique effects, including one that messes with Snowlands, which is kind of cool. This is a card that was just kind of outside of playability, I think, for like Modern and Legacy, but probably works in a smaller card pool, as well as some other classics from mono white decks of other formats. There's some cards in this deck that are making it in as like 2-ofs, and maybe this deck still needs a few other things. Like, this deck definitely feels like it's a deck that still has flex slots, rather than it's like a deck where it's like, yeah, everything is good to go and ready, and I'm very happy with the numbers on everything. I'm not going to make any changes to this deck while I play it. I don't feel like I'm experienced enough with Pioneer to just go like, yeah, these 2-ofs should go, these 2-ofs should be here. So I'm just going to kind of give thoughts as I go along today, I think, rather than making changes ahead of time. Anyway, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you like what you see, there's all sorts of fun deck lists ranging from competitive to total jank on this channel. And if you're a regular, please throw me a like before this video begins. That's the easiest way to support my content for free. Remember, if you want to try out this deck list, look at the primer, or get one of your own decks on the video, all that information will always be available in the video description. Let's battle. Okay, I don't think I can operate just off of a Paladin class here, so this one is going to be an easy mulligan. This has a 1-2-3 curve. Don't have matching snow-covered plains art. Maybe I need to acquire more snow-covered plains so this doesn't happen. But this is going to be a little bit unimpressive, especially now. So if we're playing against a Rakdos deck, my opponent probably has a giant pile of manure removal. Yikes. And so I kind of feel like I'm to a rough start. I'm going to play this out as a 2-1 attacker. We're going to try to get damage in early while I can, before my opponent just cannibalizes all of my resources. Alright. So this sacrifices a blood token as a removal spell, right? Yeah. Well, it's a little too much to be a removal right now. Do I actually want to play a Thalia's Lieutenant and attack with a 3-2 this turn? I don't really think I have a choice. Like, I can attack the 2-1 into this and maybe miss a point of damage. But I think this game is very bad for me, and so I should just go ahead and play out the card for the times where my opponent doesn't block. Like, I can wait a whole another turn cycle to do this, but then my opponent just potentially uses that as a sorcery speed removal spell. Alright. Basically, life's bad. Okay. That's a good draw. That's worth something. So let's get that out of the way. Throw my creature. Attack for 2. And my opponent gets to do some looting. Okay, they've just filtered a land away. That makes me sad. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, we'll play some cards here. But I'm kind of expecting that this one's over. Target of a spell. This land will not be a spell. Yeah. This costs 2 right now. I think my opponent just, like, doesn't block here. Oh, I have a package. Okay. Yeah, my opponent just didn't block. That's not good for me. I'll play the Dauntless Bodyguard, collecting Thalia. I'll leave up an Aganjo, but I feel absolutely buried here. And like now my opponent gets to copy that. Or they could just copy Bone Crusher Giant and bash in for a bunch of damage. Yeah, alright, so they're going for the hasty removal spell here. And this is a -X/-X, so Dauntless Bodyguard doesn't actually save, and then I can kill this Bone Crusher. I'm gonna just play it around it. Okay. Okay. Get Thalia's Lieutenant back and start growing stuff? No, I'm just so buried here. I'll try to wiggle here, but this doesn't feel good. Alright. Make my creatures bigger. I can't really use this turn cycle. Can attack in with a 3-2 for damage. Yeah, I guess I do that. I'm certainly not winning the long game here. So I'll take that trade of bodies and then just slowly drown in this reflection of Kiki Jiki. The relevant creatures are also, like, clearly not going to go into the red zone. Like, opponent has sniffed out that this is my last card. So life's awful. Okay, opponent did not sniff out that that was my last card. He just sniffed out that I had a trick. Yeah. Folks, this matchup feels awful. My opponent has so much removal here. No. Like, my opponent has 0 cards left, but, like, they have 3 blood tokens in play. I don't even play that. I guess I hope that my opponent attacks. No, they, like, fucking know about this. This is yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah, okay, yeah, they just play around my shit. Oh god. My spirit is broken in round 1 by this matchup. Now my opponent just makes another one of these at end step. Alright, yeah, alright. No. No. It's just not happening. Alright, Primer, what do you say about this matchup? We're more or less as good as we're gonna get against matchup. Alright, they have a billion removal, no choice but to race. Alright, we're faster, leverage that as we can. Potentially bring in a Weathered Runestone to combat Croxa escaping. Actually, the rest of the stuff that's in the matchup here sounds like a different deck. Ribbons of Cut / Ribbon. Yeah, Underdog from Looping. Yeah, that sounds like a recommendation for an entirely different matchup. Okay, I will board on my own knowledge here then. What can I do to help me grind? Is this thing indestructible innately? Yes, it is, as long as it's your turn. The creatures entering tapped is definitely relevant. Portable holes seem okay. I think I've got 6 cards that I can think about. What is not good? I wonder if I just want more raw creatures. Then I want Brave the Elements as a protection spell. Like, every time I have an empty board and I top deck this, like, this is just going to be very bad. I think that's going to get me these first couple of cards. My opponent just has so much removal that I don't know that, like, a single counterspell is going to be particularly strong. Omic flies, but maybe is uninteresting. And I don't know what the last cut is. Get this other portable hole in. Elite Spellbinder for being slow, maybe. Hard to sideboard when you haven't played much of a format or much of a matchup. Oh gosh. What's my land count? 20. Okay, so a little low. Oh my god. No, I got a 4. Easily the best hand so far. I don't think I am going to have the mana to activate that. I probably just have to keep my scaling cards here and fucking pray, but I'm so dead to like Thoughtseize into removal spell or equivalent. This is an unfortunate round 1 here. All right, that's probably a fatal push. I don't think I have much of a choice here. Like, I'm just going to play out this creature, and if my opponent kills it, they kill it. But the Thalia's Lieutenant is better next turn because I can potentially draw a 1-drop and then play that. And I don't even know that Thalia's Lieutenant is good enough to get Fatal Push there. I think my opponent just ignores it and kills it later and saves the Fatal Push for something better. Oh no, it's just another removal spell. Cool. I'm going to play mana efficiently here in the hopes that like this card can become better over time. Let's see if I hit a removal spell at end step here. I sure do. Oh. Ow. Yeah, that's cool. Everything's fine. Everything's not fine, folks. Everything is maybe fine again. The roller coaster of emotion right here. All right. Now, opponent is just going to like have another piece of removal because like that's their deck. But I can dream. Oh god. Kind of awkward, isn't it? This isn't a human here for this. I play Helpful Initiate followed by Thalia's Lieutenant. I'm unlikely to train. Maybe I do it the other way. It is less immediate value, but potentially better long-term value. This is a big body and a life linker, both of which are currently the Rakdos deck is bullying the ever-loving shit out of me. Alright. And that's something. Alright. Let's always yield to these. Alright. 4/4. Crash in. This card. Yeah. Yeah. Opponent has 2 cards in hand plus. No. No. What a fucking beating of a matchup. Good god. I'm going to go ahead and concede here. My opponent has so much value and so much removal. Okay. So I think this deck needs more lands. I think I am already comfortable saying that. I will be keeping this hand. And because I'm running Faithless Haven here in flex slots, I don't think I can keep Tomic. I just think I have to keep entirely castable cards here. We've got some pressure. Let's see what we're playing against. Oh, we're playing a mirror. Absolutely. I guess I can play out Faithless Haven here. I'll play Aspirant. I think I go ahead and put my counter here. But I can bash in successfully this turn. And I've got double creatures for next turn. Alright, so this match is going to give us information on both sides. My opponent's got Mutavault. Okay, we are going aggro rather than defensive. Opponent has Mutavault, where I have Faithless Haven. Alright, do I need a Dauntless Bodyguard here? I don't super care about Indestructible immediately. Let's just get it so this thing can attack and get training next turn. Alright, didn't mute the microphone that time, my bad. Alright, let's get some counters. So one of these is going here, so I can attack with it this turn. And then I think I just want to build up the larger creature beyond that. And I will bash in for 6 here, dropping my opponent to 11. Alright. You've got a Lord for your turn. How do things go if you get defensive here? Slash, are you going to get defensive? Alright, you are going to get defensive. You've got a 4/5 creature. I have 2 aspirants. So I can go up to having a 4/5 Dauntless Bodyguard. Just have the larger creature. I don't really want to go tall. I'd rather go wide and get lethal. I might just be doing that anyway by playing out these other creatures. I really need +2 power here to attack successfully this turn. Alright. Let's Dauntless Bodyguard, our Dauntless Bodyguard. Go to combat. I think I'm not getting to attack with this here. Let's stack up the counters. Getting a 6/5. And just go ahead and crash in here. Okay, opponent's just taking the chump this turn. And I'll go ahead and play out a Hopeful Initiate. And call it a turn. Yeah, that is exactly what I was going to say. A Skyclave Apparition would be really annoying, because this gives Indestructible. It's not a true Mother of Runes-like protection. So I've got 2 Aspirants, which is quite nice. Oh, hell yeah. Without thinking about the combat math too much, taking my opponent's 4/5 out of the way probably gives me disgustingly good attacks this turn. Alright, so I want a Luminarch Aspirant to be at least... Okay, yeah. That's about what I thought. Alright, Primer, do we have any instructions for a mirror? No, so I'll just figure it out on my own. Basically, I want removal. Flyers are interesting, because my opponent isn't going to have very many flyers. First strikers are interesting. I don't know if I want Gideon. It's interesting, like lifelink is pretty cool. I'll consider it. I don't think I like Paladin class. Like, the final ability is really cool, but it feels like these games are going to be decided very quickly. I think I do like Brave the Elements as a way to just, like, overrun past all of my opponent's creatures. Thalia is not exactly taxing anything here, but is a human for Thalia's lieutenant, so that's something to think about. Yeah, so the first 2 cards I'm going to bring in are going to be the Portable Holes, and then I have these 5 cards that I can be thinking about from here. Thalia is not really great, but I don't know that I want to slow my curve down. I'm going to play Tomic, even though it's a little more awkward to cast on this mana base. Then I think I'm good. I might reconsider some of the 3 drops when I am on the play. Yeah, this hand has multiple aspirants, so I will be keeping it. A little awkward to like be playing out these dauntless bodyguards as just 2/1 attackers rather than using them defensively, but there's going to be so much exile-based removal here that, like, it just is what it is. 100% of the time, Luminarch Aspirant this turn. Just get that scaling started. That just feels like it really, really matters. I'll absolutely offer the trade here. My creature is not as valuable. Alright, what do you have, opponent? Skyclave's good. Another Aspirant's good. That can potentially stall the ground. Or even allow my opponent to attack, actually. Alright. I'm taking that hit. Alright. Who is the beatdown? I'm probably the beatdown still. Use Thalia's Lieutenant to kind of go over the top next turn, and then if things stall out, I can get flyers. I like that. I think I play this land, but I can potentially double spell if I draw another land. But it feels pretty close. My opponent can have a 6/6 next turn. So there's a 4/3. Yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and put both here. I think I attack with both. I don't think my opponent trades aspirants. And I've got a Thalia's Lieutenant to go bigger if I need to. Ooh, my opponent does trade aspirants. Absolutely. Ooh, am I getting got by Brave the Elements? Ooh, I'm getting got by Brave the Elements. Okay, that was good. I might not be the beatdown anymore. Fortunately. Alright. So my opponent is kind of hedging against a single removal spell. I'll take 7 here. That's a lot, especially with a Mutavault attack next turn, too. Soldier of the Pantheon. Sure, I don't mind that card at all. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay, sorry, that is protected from multicolored. I unfortunately have not drawn a land to double spell here, which is kind of a big deal. I think I'm just done here since I missed that land drop. Like, my opponent can chump block with either Soldier or Mutavault this turn if they need to chump block, or they can, like, double trade with Dauntless Bodyguard and then be left with double Aspirant. I think I'm going to do something like this. Try to scale up the board a bit. Put a counter on the... I don't know. Like, because if I put a counter here, this just gets a counter. Maybe that spreads out things. Oh, I also fucked up. I was supposed to represent Brave the Elements here by having white up. Yeah, I got the first creature down, but my opponent's Brave the Elements really punished my Luminarch Aspirant attack. I don't... Well, what if I do attack? Maybe I'm not dead. Yeah, maybe I'm not dead if I attack. Maybe I can, like, chomp, take 6-ish damage. Alright. I unfortunately have just, like, no tricks here. I guess I can play towards drawing a Brave the Elements next turn. Oh, the Mutavault isn't getting fired up. Now the Mutavault is being left back as a chump blocker. Sure. Oh, okay, they've got Brave the Elements. Not a lot to be done there. Yeah. All my creatures are white. I am dead. Yeah. Rough. This game is going to be decided so quickly. I don't know that I want more 3-drops. Like, some of these are interesting. Like, Gideon plussing and giving lifelink is kind of cool. Regular Thalia does not seem to matter a lot. Like, First Strike is cool and all, but I might just be piling counters onto whatever creature I play on turn 1. I don't know, like, I also feel kind of land light, especially if I actually want to try to use some of these as spells. I don't know, maybe... Can I board out something like this? This isn't a human. This feels pretty slow. Let's board in the Gideons here and hope that like lifelink or indestructible or vigilance can have a warping effect on the game. Yes, I would like to play first. This is a game warping card, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this is okay. I have something that can knock out an opposing Luminarch Aspirant. I just, like, don't really feel good about that. The plan. I'm going to keep this, I think, because I'm just so unhappy with the, like, land situation in this deck, and just kind of hope the top of the deck does cool things. I'm going to play out Hopeful Initiate as a Hopeful Initiate, and maybe I top deck a Luminarch Aspirant, and then have a relatively strong aggressive hand. We'll see, though. Alright, opponent has one of those as well. Yeah, this is going to be underwhelming. So I choose Hopeful Initiate. I hold up a Brave the Elements for an opposing removal spell, although I do not expect one. And then hopefully I can just like Brutal Cathar away whatever relevant 2-drop my opponent plays here. Yeah. So this counter potential. Okay, they are going for the immediate attack here. Oh no, no attack. Just stacking up. I will go ahead and Brutal Cathar away their Aspirant. Alright, let's take care of that. And then I don't have a good attack from there. I have Brave the Elements as something that can break a board stall, but I need some oomph right now. I just have no oomph. The other issue is that if my opponent has like a Skyclave here that gets to take this out, they get their creature back, and then like these Brave the Elements that are sitting in my hand as a pseudo counterspell aren't doing their job. Alright, opponent has land 3 and an Adeline. Opponent's definitely got the stronger overall board presence here. And no attack, no attack. This Adeline is going to wreck me. I think I have to use these Brave the Elements on the defensive to try and kill my opponent's creatures, which are just going to be larger than mine. And not doing anything this turn. Flips this into a 3/3 first striker, which is not nothing. But lands and Brave the Elements were not the cards that I was hoping for here. Uh-huh. Wonder if my opponent should have animated their Mutavault to get a counter on their Mutavault there. Alright. Training occurs, and this nonsense starts happening. I will Brave the Elements and name white. So, there and there kills Adeline. And then I think I want to just soak up the damage here. Maybe I should kill the token. Or future Adelines. Alright. Oh shit, this is white creatures you control. So my opponent gets their Luminarch Aspirant back. Not consider the interaction of my my white creature turning into a red creature. Yeah, I think I just flooded out this game. Like now my opponent has like so much more power than I do and scaling that I just don't. I think I am ready to throw in the towel here. Like these Brave the Elements are not winning me this match. Maybe I should have mulliganed this hand. Okay. I have Hopeful Initiate into Thalia. If I draw specifically a white producing land, curving into Adeline will be really strong. I think since I'm on the draw, I just accept that, but I'm like really not excited about this hand. Alright, opponent leads on Spire Bluff Canal. Okay, good. I did spike the necessary card to make this into a respectable hand. Or consider. So we're potentially, ooh, playing against some prowess style stuff. Understood. This Thalia probably looks pretty good then. Ledger Shredder. This is probably a Thalia turn still. I guess I can play this turn. Alright. Unfortunately, no attack with my 1/2 this turn. And no attack with Thalia next turn in some number of worlds. Might Skyclave Ledger Shredder out of the way, depending on what exactly happens on my opponent's turn here. Okay, sure. That's fine. Opponent has gotten a Ledger Shredder trigger through my Thalia, which is not great for me. And I'm never going to be able to block these flyers. I'll just take this damage here. So I am probably most scared of the Ledger Shredder scaling up as of right now. The Sprite Dragon is spooky as well. So we can go ahead and attack here, and I will successfully train. I don't think blocks make sense here unless opponent needs another card in graveyard for delve at some point. Fiery Impulse. Alright, that takes out my Thalia, which I can return with an Extraction Specialist. So I don't care too much. I do care about 1 mana draw 2s. That's pretty good. I am also just eating a buttload of damage here. Oh god, there's more. Okay. My opponent has drawn 4 additional cards this turn for 2 mana. No big deal. I will unfortunately take 8 damage here. I think I need the excuse me. I think I need the Thalia effect in play here. I'll bash in. I think there's a lot of worlds where Extraction Specialist ends up chump blocking Soul Scour Mage next turn, and then I can still attack with Thalia. This is going to be tight, and my opponent might also just have the Temporal Mastery, whichever the delve extra turn card is. And that would be a disaster. Okay, Swift Spear is fine. Okay, so let's just start yielding to these triggers. I can't really do anything about them. All right, Extraction Specialist not getting to do its thing. What do you? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what can you do with the Thalia in play as well? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So a Thalia chump block is required if my opponent goes all in here. Yep. Both of these have prowess, so it doesn't really matter which one I block. It just occurs. All right. I can play a land drop. The 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 after training trigger. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 after training trigger. So I instead have to try to live another turn against all of these bodies. That probably involves playing Extraction Specialist on Thalia and then Tomic. Very specifically in that order. The Thalia makes it so that this can't be, like, as easily dealt with. Okay. So I will grab my Thalia. What is that? What is that? Okay, it's just an opt. Alright. So any removal spell beats me, right? Any removal spell on Tomic beats me. So accordingly, I should probably only leave back the exact minimum number of blockers. This one can't block. So 1, 2, 3. Guess I attack with this one then. Yeah, but any removal spell on Tomic kills me. Okay. Okay. Not technically dead yet. It should be dead to another spell, I think. Oh. Yeah, no bueno. So if I, like, block, or no, I'm not actually dead, am I? Yeah, I'm not actually dead. Did my opponent just kill themselves by attacking all out because I gained 3? Yeah. Yeah, I go to 1, then I animate this. My opponent is dead. Right, 2, 4, 6. Lethal. Opponent's tapped out. And I have Thalia in play. Okay. I mean, we take those. I did not deserve that game. Opponent didn't do combat math. Send them. I also get training here, because that's relevant. Alright. And on we go to boarding. Make these more visible here. Alright, what do we have to say about blue-red primer? I didn't see Phoenixes, but I'm going to assume this is Phoenix. Alright, bring in Gideon, Big Thalia, Portable Hole, Deafening Silence. Weathered Rinstone? Gideon, Big Thalia, Portable Hole, Deafening Silence. Sure. Really? Okay. Now, the primer doesn't tell me what to take out. I'm going to assume that Paladin class usually gets the cut here. Elite Spellbinder is a flyer. Feels very slow to me. Like I like Thalia. I like scaling threats, like Extraction Specialist a lot. I go down on some Hopeful Initiate type cards because my opponent has like Ledger Shredders that are just going to block. Unsure. Very unsure. Seems to me that my higher mana cards are going to have higher impact in this matchup. Also, just like editor's note to the donor specifically, you're going to write a primer for other people and you want them to like play your deck and like you want to pass on your matchup experience. A lot of times telling them what to board out as well is super useful. This has one land, so auto mulligan. This doesn't have enough mana. I have a potentially potent sideboard card here. I think I keep in Prey. I cannot throw back either of the removal spells, so it's like, do I want an Archon or an Adeline? I think I want an Adeline because, well, this costs white. It's only relevant if I draw a second Faceless Haven. Let's throw back the Archon, since the Deafening Silence covers some amount of that work. Alright, here we go. We're under the gun immediately. Okay, that is a great bridge card. I still need land 3. I still need land 3 very badly. My opponent has some instant speed things like Opt that can just be played on my turn, but hopefully these Deafening Silences slow them down. I am under a lot of pressure. I've got some annoying stuff, but if I miss land drop 3, I think I basically instantly lose the matchup on the spot. Like, I need to clear the board of creatures. Otherwise, my opponent will make more land drops and start splitting 2 spells between my turn and my opponent's turn in a way that's, like, very much not good for me. It'll save me damage from these prowess creatures, but eh. Alright. So my Thalia goes down. Luckily, my opponent can't play another spell this turn. Yeah, I missed land 3, which I think just means I died on the spot. Like, I can play an Aspirant and start trying to scale it up, but life's awful. I also can't really block this turn because any instant or sorcery just means I lose out on the combat interactions here. Okay. Yeah, life is awful. Absolutely awful. I'm taking 4 this turn, and again, if okay, I hit a removal spell, so that's cool. I can make it so that I instantly don't lose the game, but like I have 2 removal spells in hand. I would have rather found a land. I think I have to leave this back defensively. I'm so scared. Like my opponent just cast a draw 2, and so any removal spell here is just backbreaking. Okay, I have not successfully held the creatures back. Does my opponent have a spell that is going to deal exactly 2 damage? They have a spell that does exactly 2 damage. I just save 2 life by blocking. Maybe I just have to do that though. Like I just need to save every point of life I can in the hopes of drawing land so that I can deploy these cards. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, it is exactly 2 damage, sure. And then that's fine. I think I just have to soak up that damage. Like that damage could have gone to my face instead. All right. In the same position as before. And that is a Gigantha to hand. Didn't draw land. Yeah, so like I can play a 1/1 creature and die? Like even if my opponent doesn't do anything cool in combat, I just take 2. My opponent can play out Gigantha, which is a what 4/5, or something like that. 5/4. Okay. 4 damage to target creature you don't control and 2 damage to target creature you control. Sure. All right. Yep. I died because I was not able to cast my spells. This deck needs more lands. Unquestionably. All right. I'm less convinced that this deck is actually Phoenix now. Having seen a little bit more, it just seems like it's straight prowess. Still think I'm more or less happy with how I've boarded. Like it's possible. I just want some things with 3 toughness to better play around my opponent's removal spells. um, This is a card that I theoretically think can be very good. Like, that lifelink is hot, but I don't think I can do nothing for turns 1 and 2 in this matchup. I think I will just fall too far behind. This is going to be a mulligan. I'm not really happy with this hand, honestly. I probably keep it, but like, if I play out Deafening Silence on turn 1, I can't do this turn 2, which probably means I play this. There's some worlds where I don't play my hate card because it becomes more important for me to play Luminarch Aspirant on turn 2. Alright. Am I eating a removal spell? Am I eating an opposing creature? What's going on? My opponent plays a creature. Nope. Brave the Elements is going to trip all over my Deafening Silence. Ugh. I think I have to get this scaling. I have so few lands in my deck that I don't know that I can hope to, like, have 3 mana reliably next turn to just, like, play this with Brave the Elements protection. And even if I did, I might need to get Deafening Silence in play. Alright, opponent thought for a long time, and then removed the Luminarch Aspirant. Oh, they don't have another land. Well, good news, neither do I. Yeah, so I basically have 4 cards in my hand here, but I'm doing a whole lot of nothing. Opponent probably didn't want to risk, like, opt into missing land drop last turn. Yeah, now I'm sitting on removal and protection, but no threat. Okay. The opponent drew that as their draw for this turn. Yeah. So, Deafening Silence is more than one non-creature spell each turn, very notably. I'll get to Portable Hole this creature out of the way. Maybe Brutal Catharid if I draw a land. And I'll take 2 here. Yeah, I mean, I'll play some spells. But I just feel like everything I'm doing here is very anemic this league. Alright, opponent's got their next land drop. They didn't have like a Sprite Dragon or something to play first. Probably means my creature's eating a removal spell here. I'm so choked on mana that I can't really use this as a protection spell. Like, I can attack with a 2/1 and protect that 2/1, or I can try to do something better. Yeah, like, I can't use my cards the way they're intended because I don't have enough mana. This is very frustrating. I'm playing towards my highest upside 3 damage line this turn. It's possible I can sneak 2 damage and then my opponent uses a removal spell afterwards, but like, my position is so bad that I'm playing towards, like, oh, you're just going to opt lines. Okay, yeah, all right, cool. I played towards the line where my opponent opted, and they did actually opt. So that means I get 3 damage in this turn instead of maybe 2 damage. Hopefully they just, like, hold their removal until my turn. Like, they just play a cantrip or something on their turn, and then I can use Brave the Elements as an actual protection spell on my turn. Again, this would be up right now if I had more land. Okay, yep. Oh, cool. Yeah. I will attack with a sad 1/1 that I probably don't even use Brave the Elements to protect if my opponent uses a removal spell on it. I don't know, maybe I have to, and just, like, have to play towards Adeline, powering it up. Alright. There's a Sprite Dragon. The what, if anything, my opponent does to power that up in combat. Nothing. I'm really trying not to just crab about how unhappy I am about my lack of mana in this deck, but the difficulty level is impossible. Alright. Crash in with a 3/3. How the hell does my opponent have nothing to do with 2 mana between their turn and my turn when I have multiple creatures in play and they have a prowess creature? Was that your draw for turn, or you were... I'm so confused. Alright. I'll take 2. Do I even play this out? It feels like I play this out and then I eat a Lightning Bolt style card here. Maybe I go for Thalia in second main phase, if at all. Alright. I will Brave the Elements. I'll select red. I saved my creature from removal there, but again, like, because I do that, now I don't get to, like, grow my creature and advance my board. Alright, there's another one. Yeah. Life's bad. It's okay if I hit. Fuck. That card's unbeatable if I miss this land drop. Yep. Yeah, so now my opponent just has infinite removal spells. I think I am going to play a Thalia to tax my opponent's mana here and just make their turn, like, their entire turn cycle slightly more awkward. Just anything that slows them down so that I can maybe Brutal Cathar away, Dreadhorde Arcanist, and do something. Oh, wow, just... Okay, okay. What? What? You do... Alright, my opponent doesn't know how Thalia works. I will take 6 damage. Please draw a land. Please draw a land. Thank you. So the unfortunate thing here is like, I do just have to remove Sprite Dragon or I die because I've spent so long missing land drops. Probably just have to hold this creature back. I want to hold this creature back. Maybe I don't. Any of this stuff go to face? Target creature. Any target. So my opponent can do 2 to my face, 3 damage. I don't know. Maybe I only win if I attack. Life's awful. Like, opponent has ace creatures that they can play. Yep. But, like, Thalia doesn't block well against this once the prowess trigger happens. Okay. Yeah. That's awful. So, I take 4 this turn and go to 1. My opponent can't cast a spell here because of Deafening Silence. Oh, cool. Yeah. I can play an Adeline. I can attack my opponent for 3, and then I am dead in air. This is brutal. Absolutely brutal. I wish I could adjust my deck right now. So the unfortunate thing here is that, like, I can't just hold a prolonged frowny face here, because then, like, I'll just edit it out later thinking it's dead space. But, like, you know what I'm gonna say. Okay. Cool. I will keep this hand. I'm on the player draw. I'm on the draw. On the draw, Archon is probably not fantastic. I probably value the removal spell over Archon here. Hit another mirror? Wild, if so. Okay. That is one of the best possible draws in my deck versus, like, Plains Pass. That potentially allows me to, like, have an actual good curve of 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, which we have almost never done throughout this league, unfortunately. League has been an absolute beating for morale. What? Okay. So we're just doing poorly enough that we are in meme deck territory. Alright. I'll go ahead and start scaling up my slightly larger creature, and I think there's some sort of, like, plow card that combines with Giant Ox to, like, make it use its toughness instead of its power or something. Yeah, there we go. Colossal Plow. Whenever Colossal Plow attacks, add 3 to your mana pool. You gain 3 life. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Sure. Okay. Giant Ox crews vehicles using its toughness rather than its power. Okay. So that's the trick. My opponent can crew this thing immediately. Do I want to get rid of my opponent's 0/6 blocker? Or do I just want to get rid of the plow? I think I want to get rid of the plow. Alright, so let's play my removal spell here. Take out the Colossal Plow. I will continue stacking up counters on one creature in case I need to really go past this 0/6 butt. And I am fine attacking in for a single point of damage. Like, I have an Adeline, I have a Thalia's Lieutenant. Those 2 cards are going to play very well together. Other Giant Ox, absolutely. That's a good draw. I think I will go ahead and Adeline here. Let's just keep stacking this up. I am fine that more of this damage is getting blocked. My opponent's pausing here. They might have a removal spell of some kind. I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know what the Giant Ox deck has in it. Accordingly, I will play around nothing. Like, it's possible they have a 1 mana white removal spell that can give them a 3/3 here. But I don't know what that would be. Alright. Take a minuscule amount of damage, and then next turn, like, I'll play Thalia's Lieutenant, Brave the Elements, and hopefully win. 7/11? Huh. Wild. Alright. Do this thing. Go to combat. The Adeline is the scariest creature. Probably gets blocked by Dreadmaw thingy this turn. I think I'm just gonna spread the love out here. Go to attacks. Back in with everything. Adeline triggers. Oh, fuck, this thing can't attack this turn. That was actually a bad place to put that. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Not quite lethal this turn. I think I'm just going to hold up my Brave the Elements rather than use it to force damage this turn. It probably forces more damage next turn. Yes, this is fine. Alright. Good amount of damage done. I have Brave the Elements held up for a removal spell of some kind. Sure. Okay, yep, that's fine. That gets larger. Seem like that really matters. Let's just play the Elite Spellbinder. I would love to take a look at my opponent's hand and just get a better feel for what's happening over there. Okay. Armed and armored. Sure. Okay. So I use target opponent. Throw my creatures. Alright, I know Karn. What is this? Deals damage equal to twice the numbers your vehicles roll to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Sure. Guess I'll take one of those. I'll just, again, spread out the damage. It's not going to matter here. Very much lethal. I might be able to have lethal without choosing this, but this way I don't have to count. And I value that a lot right now. Alright, I'm going to guess Giant Ox deck is not in the primer. Let's board in Portable Hole. Flyers are interesting. Wish I had more removal in the board. Like, that's just what I want. I guess my plan is just, like, stack up counters on creatures and be larger than my opponent. The Brave the Elements is medium. It gets through the white stuff, but it does not get through the colorless things themselves. This card is interesting for stopping, like, Karn Scion of Urza. Paladin class feels low to me. Like, this, I think, is a very bad card in this deck, because, like, we're short on mana. It just cast our cards in the first place, so, like, we're not going to use this as mana source. Or, sorry, as a mana sink, rather. Get these Gideons in here for lifelink. And now I'm, like, kind of just torn. Thalia seems a little rough on the draw. Maybe I get rid of a couple of those. Actually, Archon's probably worse. Thalia is at least a human. Although Thalia, like Thalia while bringing in 4 non-creature spells is also a thing. I'm boarding up flyers here. We'll figure it out. We lose to the Colossal Ox deck. I'm dropping the league, though. I don't have a 1-drop here. But I do have very good cards in my hand, and I have 3 lands, and I value that a lot. So I'm keeping. Okay. In good news, my opponent mulliganed into Oblivion. We will be playing one more round with this deck. Alright. I don't have 3 lands again. I have a 1-drop into a 2-drop, and then I have 3 uncastable cards. I think I'm supposed to keep this and pray. But I've been just so incredibly unhappy with the number of mana sources in this deck. This is gonna be rough if I miss line drop 3. Like, I don't know exactly. Gateway Plaza. Okay, I don't know. Oh, that's a gate. I just kind of assumed that my opponent was playing air quotes real lands, but that is not the case. We are playing against Gates. Oh my god. Oh my god. YouTube. YouTube. I need land. I need land so bad. I beat the Colossal Plow deck. Now we gotta beat Gates. Land, 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 land. Fuck me. God damn it. Alright. We're gonna stack up the counters on one relevant creature and potentially lose. I think there's some gate burn spell. Okay, there isn't a braid. Sure. Alright, so my ability is fizzled. And I attack with a 1/1. I have 6 unplayable cards in hand. Alright, this is the draw card one. Yeah, draw a card for each tapped gate. Or no, when it enters the battlefield, you may tap. Okay, sure. But this turns gates into cantrips. Which seems pretty good in the gates deck. Yep. That sure isn't a land. It's a playable card, which is something, but like I need to unlock these cards, and I'm just like never going to get to the point where I double spell. I just have 0 agency on my games because I have no ability to cast my spells when they need to be cast. And that's super frustrating. Oh, fuck. Cool. Alright. I drew a land. I think I just need to take that card out of play immediately. Like, I can't let my opponent's cards... I can't just let the vast majority of the cards in my opponent's deck cantrip. I just cannot do that. Alright, what are we looking at? Kappa. So now my opponent can just turn that into a draw 2 as well. And they do. Life's bad. So my Brutal Cathar's probably not going to be good. How much damage? This X is number of gates. This is gross. I think I am going to cast this, return a Luminarch Aspirant, put a counter on Skyclave, and then try to just get in 3 immediate damage. It's possible I'm supposed to just attack for 6 with Faithless Haven to better play around another Gates Ablaze. But in the worlds where I am... Oh, there's a life gain gate. In the worlds where I'm only playing against the Abrade type cards and not the Gates Ablaze type cards, I like pointing a target on this thing that can't attack anyway. Alright. That is a large creature that I do have a removal spell for, but I'm just making myself consistently worse versus Gates Ablaze. Oh, it's a Gate Colossus now. Sure. Alright, so my opponent has played 2 8/8s. Here I was thinking playing Archon of Emeria last turn wasn't going to be that good. I just have to play Brutal Cathars in back-to-back turns and hope my opponent doesn't have a sweeper. Alright. Let's do this. I'll take out the Trampoly one first. And we can take out this one later. Aspirant is going to put this out of range of a Braid, I think. And then I'll call it a turn. My opponent has 6 cards and all their lands cantrip, though. I am not hopeful that I get to close this one out. What is this? Exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may play cards exiled this way until end of turn. You may play an additional land this turn. Okay. So my opponent can go land, draw a card, land, draw a card. Okay. They played this instead of a Guild Gate. Presumably so they can play Gatebreaker Ram. I can eventually go wide or create a creature that's larger than an 8/8. That is a thing that can occur. Oh, what is this? Destroy target non-land permanent. The creature or green-white was spent to cast this spell. Okay. That occurs. So my opponent is only playing 1 of the 5 cards they got off their 5-mana spell. That seems like a W for me. Wait, hold on. Until the end of your next turn. Never mind. Opponents can't play land cards from graveyard. So I can get rid of a Gate Colossus here and make some small attacks. They're not really great attacks, though. I think I might need to play Archon to just chill this stuff out. Again, I only get to single spell if I do something like this. And Fraction Specialist, question mark, question mark, question mark. Maybe Archon, actually. Maybe I just need a bigger booty on that creature so it dodges a Braid. No good attacks with an 8/8 on the other side of the battlefield. Yeah, this Archon is useful. But if my opponent just plays one of these two creatures, then the single removal spell that I have in my hand isn't good, and I can't double spell as of right now. Long term, I'd like to get flyers going. Like, Aspirant on Archon is currently my way I plan on winning this game. I have to remove the Tramplers as they come down. Okay, yeah, there's the Gatebreaker Ram. And we effectively stopped most of this other stuff from happening. Alright, am I taking the first 8 damage? I can just block with Extraction Specialist, gain 3 life. I think that card is more valuable as an... I don't know. Like, I'm going to be chump blocking. I remove this creature. I can't really attack with that turn. I'm gonna gain a bunch of life here. Just kind of accept this. Oh shit, it's another land. That's very nice for me. That now means that I can double spell. Fuck, I can't double spell. I can't double spell over the course of 2 turns either. Alright. They levy. Take out this. Go to combat. I think I continue to stack counters here. Be willing to take 11 if I have to in combat. I don't know that my opponent can attack with both of those creatures. Yeah. Symmetrical cards are symmetrical. Unfortunately, this doesn't get buffed by Thalia's Lieutenant. It's not a human. Okay, is that the 3 life one? That's actually super inconvenient for me. Opponent also has a 5/5 blocker / attacker that can come out at any time. Oh, that's fine. Wow, my opponent can draw a lot of cards if they so choose. Yeah, like drawing that many cards is probably just a tutor for Gates Ablaze. They left up mana for Gates Ablaze, but then they can't cast that, right? That's not an instant, that's a sorcery. Yeah, opponent is holding back. I guess this one's an instant. I guess they left up 3 mana in case they drew one of those. What is my one spell? A flyer, probably, is the answer. I don't know that there's just, like, any world where I beat a Gates Ablaze. Is this a turn where I play Thalia's Lieutenant and try to force damage? No. Gosh. Everything's bad. I think I'm going to go to combat. Put the counter here. Crash in for my 5. And then hope to get lucky. Alright. Omic is probably least valuable of these creatures. I'm going to hold this back. Can't really double spell anyway. And if I board wipe, like, or sorry, if my opponent board wipes, like, yes, I have Faithless Haven left around, but then, like, my opponent has these. I'll take 8. Just everything? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe this is telegraphing Gates Ablaze. And I should just, like, not let my opponent have the damage. Now, if they had the Gates Ablaze, they would have attacked with both. I'm going to take the 8. Alright, what do you got? They do have it, and I do not have a Brave the Elements, unfortunately, to stop that. So my opponent gets both of these back, and Gate Colossus can come back whenever my opponent plays a Gate. Oh, and now the Archon is gone, so everything goes to shit. My opponent has 28 power in play. It's not happening. Okay, they get another Escape to the Wilds. Okay. I don't think I have any outs from here. I'm going to go ahead and concede and move on. And again, this one's not going to be in the primer. What do we have? Not a lot. Portable Hole, not necessarily hitting the things that I needed to hit. Rest in Peace has some utility at stopping Gatekeeper Colossus from coming back, but I think I just want, like, flyers, non-creature spells. Source an opponent controls would deal damage to you, prevent 1 of that damage. Whenever you or another permanent you control becomes a target of a spell or ability, counter it unless they pay 1. I could play this as another flyer. I don't know, preventing 1 damage from that stupid gate board wipe is maybe not going to do what I want. And most of my opponent's lands enter tapped anyway. This is not great. About Gideon. Gideon seems kind of like whatever. Brave the Elements seems super important as a protection from board wipes, but I'm going to be so bad at holding up mana for this card. I don't think I actually like Extraction Specialist. I think I want Flyers for breaking board stalls that are pretty inevitably going to happen. And then maybe I'll play a Gideon or something. I'm not super confident here. I think I need to mulligan to a very strong aggro start. Yeah, I don't have enough land to be functional for like the billionth time in this league. I'm gonna keep this hand. I'm gonna throw back my redundant legendary creature. Keeping Brave the Elements is super awkward when I have a Thalia that I'm probably going to play. But I think it's happening because I think there's a lot of worlds where I get stuck and I don't actually get to cast my 3-drop. So I'll have Brave the Elements up anyway. Alright. Tapped Guildgate, 100% Thalia this turn, not Luminarch Aspirant. I need to tax my opponent's resources, and like very awkwardly, this means that next turn I can't like play Luminarch Aspirant while having this up, which probably means that I'm just playing Adeline and just getting in there for damage as quickly as I can. That's an exceptionally bad draw. Like, not only is it legendary, but it's also a creature that plays poorly with the Brave the Elements that's in my hand. Hopefully I just overrun my opponent before they do anything cool. Okay, they did something cool. They have made a 4/4. Yeah, so like my Brave the Elements is super awkward in the face of Thalia here, right? Because like normally I could just like aggro in. Alright, well, let's just try to make an unbeatable Adeline and go from there. I think I have to keep my Thalia in play right now. We'll put a +1/+1 counter on Adeline. I will not attack with Thalia. And this turns into a larger creature. And then my plan for the next 2 turns is just cast Brave the Elements twice. That's pretty good. Again, I don't have Brave the Elements up here for if my opponent has untapped land into the Gates Ablaze card. If I use my Brave the Elements offensively, I can't use it defensively. I hate that every game is just coming down to like the mana in my deck not being functional. But that is where we're at. Okay. This is now double Brave the Elements. Alright. I think I just continue to stack up on this creature. I'm not even sure that I cast a Brave the Elements this turn. Like, there's worlds where my opponent just has a removal spell, right? I think I just attack in. Oh, my opponent just eats it all. Goes to 4, sure. This isn't a gate. I have no idea what your out is. Okay. Alright, we beat... Oh, no, we have to beat the Gates deck again in order to beat the Gates deck. I think I'm more or less happy with how I've boarded. Like, this whole Thalia Brave the Elements situation is awkward, but I still think I need Thalia to try to offset my opponent from these, like, very, very strong 3-mana plays. And it also helps with some of the other stuff. Yes, I will keep this hand. I have a 1-drop into a 2-drop into miss land drop 3 and complain about it for 17 turns. Oh, hey! Hand's playable! Hell yeah. I probably play Thalia turn 2 rather than Thalia's Lieutenant. Thalia's Lieutenant becomes better later after I play Adeline. Okay. Yeah. I don't need to play this pre-combat for any reason. I'm going to attack in with a 1/2. Drop opponent to 19. Play a taxation effect. Again, this whole Thalia, Brave the Elements. situation is not good. All right, take your life, which is super relevant here. There is a ram. I am unfortunately very bad against that card currently. Don't have any removal spells here. And if I'm bad against that card, that means that I don't get to actually train. Alright. How do I want to do this? If I draw a land next turn and can play double Thalia's Lieutenant, that's really hot. Adeline will be a 3/3, a 4/4, a 5/5, a 6/6 on attack. Alright. Let's play an Adeline past the turn. Again, I am just absolutely tripping over my mana. And starting next turn, I have to start worrying about Gates Ablaze. I don't have to worry about it right now, but... Oh god, that's Trample and Vigilant. Absolutely happening. No bueno. As long as you control 2 or more gates. Okay. I can play Elite Spellbinder and try to take a gate board wipe here. And then just play towards the world where I can double spell. My opponent has double Gates Ablaze. This line... Yeah, it's super fucking punished. Alright, let's see what their hand looks like. Okay, there is an Abrade. Alright, I take the Gates Ablaze. Opponent has an Abrade that they can cast this turn. My opponent abrades this. I still will have a 4/4. I can't actually attack, right? If I attack, I create a thing. I have a 5/5. My opponent abrades a non-Adeline creature, and then I lose in combat. That's unfortunate. Please kill my Thalia. Thank you. Thank you. I needed that. I could also use a removal spell. But, like, since my opponent has all tapped lands, I can save this Brave the Elements. I'm going to just, like, fucking lose to this card. Are there worlds where I just double block with Adeline and Elite Spellbinder and accept the blowout that happens if my opponent has an instant speed removal spell as their draw for turn? I think so. Although I'm attacking for a shit. No, this thing still blocks, is the issue. Yeah, alright. So... Got super punished for not also throwing away Hopeful Initiate there. Not to play around Growth Spiral. Okay. We've probably lost this one now. I just have no ability to, like, play out my cards while playing around my opponent's shit. That helps. Alright, take out Gatebreaker Ram. I attack with a 1/2. My opponent has a board wipe just chilling in exile that they can play at any time. They also just have this. Oh, cool. Alright. So I can work on destroying this, but that is going to be a I have to destroy that thing repeatedly sort of situation. Which isn't good for me. Also, Skyclave, not a human, notably. I also just die in who attacks from my opponent's creature. Alright, sure. Alright, what do I want to do about this? Probably take 8. I think I just need all my bodies as of right now. Okay, there's Gates Ablaze. I guess if I would have chump blocked, that would have been slightly better for me in some ways, but... Alright, here's some protection. Protect from red. Stops Gates Ablaze. Unfortunately, their Colossus has 7 damage marked on it. I think I should have blocked with Skyclave. Alright, how much damage do I have if I animate this? 4, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13. I'm not training this turn unless I attack with Faithless Haven. I need to leave at least one creature back to chump block. I guess that's this. I can do a post-combat Thalia's Lieutenant, which is a little weird. Alright. This is newly controlled. This is not newly controlled. I click this one. 1, 2. Actually, I can just destroy it with counters instead. Let's destroy it with counters instead. Alright. Let's yield to these. Crash in for a lot of damage. And then this way, I'm not reliant on a chump block actually working. I can just destroy this thing. Although I will potentially just chump block if they attack in to better play around a second Gate Colossus. Okay. Sure. That's annoying. Okay. Do I want to chump block? If I chump block, I can animate this. This gets blocked. I'll have 4, 8, 9, 10, 13. Fuck. Is that really correct? It's blocked. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1 point short. Reduces my power by 1. This reduces my power by 2. Where does this go? It goes on top of library. Alright. I'll remove counter from each of these. Then they get training even if I just attack with this. Opponent has forgotten about their Giganta. Alright, if I attack in with everything, what happens? My 4 gets blocked, or my 4-3 gets blocked. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm 1 point short this way as well. That's some shit. Yeah, so I have to hold back a bunch of stuff for this. Hope to draw any creature. Opponent might remember their Giganta. This is not great for me, and I'm super bad versus an instant speed trick. Okay, that's fine. Are you attacking? You are attacking. So I would like to animate one of these. One of those is very much expendable. 4, gross. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 4, 5, 9, 10. Grow this, train this. Or no, this block would be better, right? In some ways. I only lose 3 creatures instead of 4 this way, but my opponent might leave me with the extra Faceless Haven, which isn't really good. Can't give away the Skyclave. I don't think. I just don't think I can give my opponent an extra blocker here. Okay, good. They are getting rid of my Faithless Haven, which is what I wanted to happen. There's also the worlds where my opponent remembers their companion, and that is very bad for me as well. But they sure didn't. Alright. 1, 2, 3. Activate Faithless Haven. Because this is a colorless card, I don't also get to play Tomic this turn. But I think I just need to attack and train here. Yep. Alright. The opponent goes to 3. They're drawing Gatekeeper Colossus, which I can kill with this. Yep, that's fine. For now, okay, so they didn't put that on top before? Okay. So I 2-3'd in this league only because I think I beat a meme deck that conceded after mulling to 4, and I beat another meme deck that very easily could have beaten me if they remembered their companion, I think. Ugh. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Bad. I don't think this deck is that far away from being playable, but in its current state, I think this is nowhere near a competitive deck list. It has mana sinks that it does not have mana to support. It probably has too many colorless lands, or lands that require too much of an activated mana cost. So this deck only has 16 white mana sources, and it in theory has white cards that it wants to cast on turn 2 and turn 3. And I almost never had enough mana in my opening hand, and almost every game I got stuck on 2 lands. The deck needs probably at least 2 more lands, I think, to be competitive. And I'm not actually sure if Faithless Haven is better than Mutavault. Mutavault's single cost activation means that it's better with randomly grabbing counters from Thalia's Lieutenant. This land is very specifically good with Hopeful Initiate. I don't know that synergy is worth this large activation cost. And I think the lower your land count is, the worse your spell lands actually are. This is a land in this deck almost 100% of the time, right? Because I just don't have enough lands to hit my land drops. And so this isn't a spell some portion of the time. This is always a land, which means that this is probably just worse than basic planes. Not that you should make that change, but like Paladin classes probably come out for 2 more lands, and that is a huge step in the right direction. I'm not sure how I feel about these random like 2/2/2/2/2 splits either. I get it. I understand that these things are for different matchups, but like maybe you also need to hedge most strongly against the things that are most important to the matchup. Like, do you need more removal for certain things? Like more Skyclaves or Brutal Cathars are good. I like Extraction Specialist. I think it's pretty good. It like definitely did some heavy lifting this league in terms of giving us a little bit of card advantage. But ultimately, I would be looking to kind of explore these numbers a little bit more. It's really hard for me to evaluate how good the 3-drops are because they just so frequently got stuck in my hand. Like, Elite Spellbinder definitely got us out of range of a board wipe and slowed that down, which is very relevant. The Brave the Elements did not feel good this league. I tripped over them because I did not have enough mana to just hold them up while also doing my stuff, and I also tripped over my own Thalia. Like, that's okay. Like, Legacy Death and Taxes plays like Vials and Swords to Plowshares, right? Like, that's something that you have to accept. But with Brave the Elements, where, like, the timing is so important, like, that's definitely negative synergy. As far as the sideboard goes, I wanted more removal. That was the biggest thing that I wanted out of the sideboard that just, like, wasn't there. I'm not comfortable enough with Pioneer to say, like, what exactly should be here, but I felt like I wanted more removal as a novice pilot of this deck list. Like, absolutely, for sure, I wanted to get stuff out of the way. But yeah, overall verdict on this one is thumbs down, but with the caveat that I think this deck can be improved. And we did see a pseudo mirror match, and I think that was like round 3, where our opponent was messing around with like Soldier of the Pantheon and Mutavault and some slightly different cards than what we had here. Ultimately, at the end of the day, though, I wonder if we fall into this awkward middle ground where we're not quite as aggressive as some of the prowess decks that exist in the format, and we're not quite as controlling as some of the control decks that exist in the format, leaving us in this space of like, well, then what is the defining reason that we want to be playing this deck? Does this deck have some very common, very good matchup that tilts the scales in wanting to play this deck? I am unsure about that. I think that's all I have to say here, folks. I hope you have a great day. If you have a deck that you want to get on the channel or you want to mess around with this deck yourself, check out the video description for that information. Have a great rest of the day. See ya!